Many of us can't deny the fact that with each passing day and each passing month, week, and year, we only seem to notice how many people, maybe even including ourselves, are only getting dumber and dumber. People seem to not be able to make decisions for themselves. They seem to have an extreme lack of critical thinking. Everyone seems to be waiting on what a particular person would say or waiting for what a particular person would do before they react or act a certain type of way towards what they are supposed to have their own personal opinions on. And unfortunately, this is becoming a very, very worldwide phenomenon where you have people who do not even know what they are feeling and do not even know why they're feeling what they are feeling or acting towards what they are acting towards, and instead of simply operating on the thoughts, opinions, and feelings of someone else. Now, many people, especially in this day and age, are stuck with this ideology of not even having to progress or stress themselves in terms of what they need to do or how it should be done. It's why you have a whole lot of people asking AI chatbots and every other type of AI related application or system on even the type of decisions that they should make. And don't get me wrong, okay, I'm not saying this like it's a ridiculing type of thing because I have been there myself. But at the same time, that was kind of what made me seem to realize that a problem is starting to grow, a problem is starting to develop. And unfortunately, when you have a very strong amount, a very, 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 very powerful amount of people who constantly are acting as empty vessels, waiting for someone to feed them opinions, beliefs, and rhetorics to be able to operate on, then you're stuck in a world filled with people that have no sense of direction. They have no direction. They have no self-thought. They have no self-awareness. They're all just working and operating on what another person is believing, saying, preaching, and acting upon. Now, there's nothing wrong with seeking advice, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting someone else to give you a type of pattern for you to be able to achieve something or work towards something. So let's not confuse that for being a completely self-sustaining person, for being someone who can sustain themselves in terms of decision making or action planning. When you meet someone, right, and you're talking to someone and you're speaking to them about how, I don't know why it went from you meet someone and talking to someone. When you're speaking to someone and you meet them and you tell them, hey, I want to be able to make this decision, what do you think? See, now that is you already wanting to move towards an opinion, your opinion, and you just want to hear what other people's thoughts on it are. Now, when it becomes a problem is when the person gives you their own opinion and then you shape their opinion to make your decision. Let's say you want to buy cake and you meet someone and you're like, I was thinking vanilla or chocolate, and someone tells you strawberry and you go and buy strawberry, even though that was not part of your initial choice in any of your options. That is what happens when people lack critical thinking. They're waiting for other people to think for them. They're waiting for other people to make decisions for them. And they're waiting for other people to be able to make them see certain things before they're like, oh yeah, I think that's what this is. Now, how this affects us as a people is when we have big and idealistic people in this world, right? Whether it be cult members or millionaires or what have you, that are looking and preying upon these same type of individuals who have no type of critical thinking whatsoever. They're able to implement their belief systems into these people. It's how terrorism starts. It's how cultism starts. It's how any or every single one of these type of things begin. It always stems from feeding knowledge or feeding ideals into people who have no ideals, who have no knowledge, who know no better. And I find it quite disarming and unfortunate because it's kind of understandable if it's done to a child, right? If it's done to kids are usually more prone to this type of things. They're young, still doing a whole lot of developing, so it's easier for you to be able to actually manipulate the kid into doing certain things, right? It's understandable. But when you have grown adults in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s to 50s, and they don't even know why they're making the decisions they are making, it becomes a problem. They don't even know why they're doing the things that they're doing. It becomes a problem. For goodness sake, we have people living in countries and they don't even know half of what they are doing or why they're doing the things their countries are instructing them to do. We have people living in countries that are literally burning down to the brim, burning down to the ground. And just because their politicians and officials tell them, hey, everything is fine, they are like, okay, yeah, it's cool. These people aren't going out of their own way to find thoughts, to find beliefs that go against what the people that have unfortunately used their empty brains as an opportunity to just create slaves, create zombies. These people, unfortunately, do not even know what is happening, because to them, they believe that person knows better than them and knows definitely well what is best for them, even though that is not always the case. And then you just have a whole lot of people. It's the same thing with the COVID vaccines, how you go online and it's like, I don't know. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But even with the COVID vaccines, right? Someone can just come online and be like, COVID vaccines are poisoning people, don't take it. And people are out there just listening. They don't even try to even assess whether it's true or not. They just listen. They go, yeah, I knew it. I knew the COVID vaccines were poisoning people. You see, this is why I didn't take it. And it makes no sense. And unfortunately, with the rise of social media, it just makes things like this even much easier. It makes things like this, whatever. It makes it more easier to be able to do stuff like this. It makes it so much more easier. It makes it very, very, very accessible to anyone to be able to make another person just sit down and let someone else think for them. Because social media is just a whole lot of people trying to find people or find content or find any type of topic or any type of source of information that aligns with your beliefs. It's why there's an algorithm. It's why there's a For You page. Everything being shown to you has to align with your beliefs. Otherwise, you won't stick to that place. Whether it's in entertainment, whether it's just news or information, technology-related stuff, it doesn't matter. Everything you're being shown is because they want it to align with your beliefs and your rhetoric. And if your beliefs and your rhetoric system is based off of things where you're trying to find validation, they will give you that validation by mixing you with people who will validate your sense of reasoning. And unfortunately, because you are not thinking for yourself, you're instead thinking based on the ideology of a group, where you're looking for that group, by the way, to validate your thoughts and feelings and your ideologies, where all of you then start to validate yourselves. You're left with no type of self-awareness whatsoever. You are left with absolutely no manner of thinking, right? No manner of no manner of critical self-thinking, thoughts, whatever. Okay? It's like, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And unfortunately, it's affecting the younger generation. It's affecting the older generation. It's affecting everyone. And there are only few people who actually can see that this is what's going on. This is what's wrong. This is bad. The only few people that are actually starting to notice that, hey, there's a pattern forming here. And I think they're trying to make us so dumb. I think the world is like working towards creating empty vessels that they can just shove whatever they feel like inside of us. And then we just operate based on what they tell us, how they want us to feel, how they want us to think, how they want us to, act. And we'll just be mindless zombies to them. And unfortunately, it's already that way now in this day and age. And it's only getting worse. You have people listening to other people that have absolutely no idea of what they're doing. But because those people that have no idea of what they're even doing know that they have the ones listening to them under their grasp and at the tips of their fingers, they use that to their advantage. And they don't stop using it to their advantage. And unfortunately, if there's no change and there's no difference made in terms of how we can promote self-critical thinking, it's only going to get worse. We need to find methods, we need to make reasonable formats in order to ensure that the people can understand that they need to think for themselves, they need to find themselves, they need to have their own opinions and beliefs and stand by those opinions and beliefs and not be swayed or pushed away or directed into another direction just because of what someone else is saying. You are your own person, and when you are no longer on this planet, you're going to deal with your own everything, right? You're going to deal with your own life, you're going to deal with your own principles, how you lived your life. Once you're gone, they're not going to ask you about how another person manipulated you into thinking this way. So you need to understand that we need to do better for ourselves and even for like the society that's coming up as a whole. Things are looking really grim, okay? Things are looking absolutely grim. And it makes no sense for us to actually sit our butts down and just accept this as something that is fine and something that should be, allowed and integrated into the society.